Boom! Salutations. Hope this finds you well, and Happy New Year's to everyone. It's very close to New Year. I hope you have a good 2024. This is a video that is different in terms of it's a regression that I did not all too long ago, and each one I do is so extremely unique and powerful, and this one was one that just Spirit's urging me to talk about it because it can probably help a lot of people. And the individual who went through this regression also wanted it to be known. I'm not going to mention who they are. They're anonymous, but it's somebody that I had met at the at a conference at the Journey to Truth. It was an honor to be there and at that conference. It's somebody I've met there. And we wound up doing a little work together, all right? And this was regression work. And just what happened to them really flabbergasted me, and is so astounding and unique and perhaps more common than thought, that I think it needs to be really discussed here. And what this was is this individual had come to me because they were having problems with waking up, sadness, and almost having night terrors sometimes, and having to be woke up by their spouse sometimes, and wanting to know the origin of that more, and just trying to deal with that. It appeared to be some type of a trauma. And for the things they were saying, okay, I'm picking up as a contactee and psychically that this individual is a contactee. Didn't want to say that, all right, but during this regression, this definitely comes out, all right, and the individual was given screen memories, as sometimes a lot of these beings do and these organizations do. They give these screen memories, all right? But what it comes out being is that as a young child, I mean very young, they started having encounters. And that was kind of things where it shows how much these screen memories can kind of actually block the remembering of these things, all right? They remember being floated above their home, above the tree line a little bit, and then being on this table. All right, and this is where things get very interesting. All right, and there's some things that we've heard and some things we haven't, as far as the common abduction experience. Now, what they did is the first experience, the first main one they remember is they're very young, but they actually have an AI system there that is taking sperm from them. All right, and they described it as a hooked type of an arm device with a pointed thing on it that was non-painful. And then across from this device is a control panel and this window and these doctors. All right, and these doctors part is a screen memory. And I broke through that screen memory on how to get through those things. And what's actually standing there is not four military type doctors. What it is four beings, extraterrestrial, interdimensional beings. And I have them go deep and describe these beings, and it was quite interesting. All right, these four beings. The first one, to the far left, was a dog man type of, almost Anubis type of being. And when I say this, they described this dog man as looking like a German Shepherd with the ears pointed up, and about a little over 7 feet tall. And the dress, that the outfit it had on, was not quite what you see Anubis wearing, but it was almost ancient like that. That type of a situation. So, you know, Anubis looked more like, I believe it was a jackal. So you've got something different here. But again, this individual did not get a bad feeling from this dog person. And it's fascinating because in normal consciousness, this individual wasn't really even aware of what the dogmen were and the whole dogman phenomenon. So that's the first being. Okay, the next being is shorter and about 6 feet tall, and is described as a humanoid, but having the head and the crest of a bald eagle, much like a bald eagle. Being a bird of prey, actually, the bald eagle. And very good vibration coming from this thing also was what was reported. All right, I think that's fascinating because for me that takes us also into what we call about the Return of the Bird Tribes book by King Carey, I think it was. I'll put a picture of that up. But anyway, that's just things, how much the bird beings come up in the contact scenario, but also in ancient times. So I thought that was fascinating. All right, the next was this being different. I've not heard one quite to this degree. It was a fish being. All right, fish in terms of when they're describing it to me, they kept comparing it to some cartoon being. And they said that this thing had the head of a fish, very much the head of a fish, but the tail, it also had a tail, but had legs, and it was shorter. This was like the shortest of the beings. Fascinating. Okay. What they're also what they're doing. Okay, and when I asked actually why they were collecting the sperm and what they were doing. Okay, and what this was, they were each from a different dimension, and they were making hybrids of him in their dimension. Then the individual begins describing to me, after this initial experience, and this being the physical one, after that it started being more astral, energetic, and his physical body was still at home while they were pulling him up to this craft and doing things with their energy body and dream / energy body and soul energy. And they were actually at this point doing a lot with the soul, and at this point they start describing them actually trying to fracture his soul so that they can inhabit parts of his soul in these other dimensions, in these other hybrids. And that is going really heavy, all right? And the way they start this off is actually this process is they start by taking the individual out of their body, their soul essence, their spirit, their energy body, their dream body, taking it up to the craft to a level then going beyond what is the tree line that they're always seeing when they're actually having the encounter. They see the tree line when they're being levitated into the craft, and sometimes they can see the tree line outside of the windows. They're like windows in there, they could see the tree line. It would calm them down, and they would see the doctors back there, 2 screen memories, all right? Not what was actually going on. And what's interesting is when I asked this individual very deep if they had any military involvement with any of these experiences, it wasn't. This wasn't the military doing this. So it wasn't that type of an experience. I want to get that out and make sure that's clear. Anyway, so what they were doing was actually trying to get their soul higher than the tree line, and to increase the level of the distance that the soul energy could be away from the body. And that's what they're experimenting a lot. And another thing they kept saying is that, they're very interested in our death process too, and why it is we go so much closer to God than they do. And I think that's fascinating. That says a lot about humanity, doesn't it? And another thing that, it's so fascinating because this is what I'm telling you, it's the actually fracturing of the soul and that distancing from the soul energy from the physical body that was giving this individual the nightmares, or the night terrors, and the sadness too, and was also making them nervous of these encounters as well. Although, as they said to me, they always return my soul to my body, though. It's not like they're doing it. And this is going on, and to me, this sounds like a very negative experience to me. All right, it's not something, my encounters weren't like that. It's not something I would want to go through. And I asked him, I said, is this, do you feel this is a negative experience? But throughout the whole time, they're constantly saying, with each one of these beings behind this glass, that they feel good vibrations from each of them. And then when I ask if it's a negative encounter, they say the separation of the soul energy is scary, but it's positive. They consider this positive experience. And when I ask why, they say, well, they're also not just wanting to know what happens when we die and interested in our whole death process, but also they want to, they can't love the way we can. They lack compassion. And they're saying they have compassion and love, but it's like the way some earth animals have it. And how, and our earth animals and our dogs, they're capable of love, definitely, but it's not the way we can. It's a different deal we're capable of through our brains and other things. So that's something there we want to know more about love, and I think that's just very interesting. So they're trying to use these hybrids in other dimensions, which they thought was probably over hundreds, okay, that they got these hybrids out there trying to get soul energy into them so that they can actually evolve their species to more a death process similar to us and more the love frequency that we're capable of. I think that's very, very interesting. Real quick, I'm going to go through this because I tried to just not read this off like it was just verbatim and just tell you the general story, but I may have missed some things, so I'm going to look through this real quick. Copies in other dimensions, simulation, life force in and out of body, okay, that was described many times. It's something I want to kind of touch on that real quick a little closer. When dealing with this soul energy being taken out of the body and the physical body being left in the bed, that's the bilocation I've been talking about during these contact experiences always. All right, I asked them for insignia, if they saw any insignias or any type of a badge or any signs, and they have described a third dimensional star with a circle around it. And then also this organization being, although different dimensions, connected to Arcturius, or that sign being connected to Arcturians. Fascinating there again, right? Something else, okay, that not just the bilocation I've talked about. I've experienced bilocation during this scenario, during the contact phenomenon myself. I think there were higher beings, but this right here shows you you've got other beings actually experimenting with the bilocation technology, trying to get parts of us to other dimensions and get our soul energy further away from our actually physical body without the physical body dying. So this is very, very fascinating. But the individual also said they had been at that point around like Pennsylvania area, and they had described 4 other ships that were of this same organization that were doing this with people in their vicinity and all around. 4 other craft. So, and they had described how many people they thought were going through this. So this is, I think, very valid, and it might be able to help some people. And I want to say, if you're somebody that's having night terrors of maybe being abducted or something, all this individual says it was a positive experience. That's why I'll put that chart up from Ray Hernandez about positive experiences versus negative. It's just different, and I think it throws more light on what's going on considering that this wasn't the nefarious thing it sounds like. You know, it's not the kind of experience I would want to have during contact, but it's not the exact same abduction scenario that we've heard before. It's a different thing going on slightly, and I think this may resonate with some people and help some people. So please subscribe. Please hit the button, hit the bell and everything, and share this with your friends. I think this is supposed to definitely, the right people should hear this, and maybe it will help. But it shows, please don't be scared to explore your own experiences, even if it may be trauma related. It's good to get it and kind of get the healing going, all right? So thank you very much. I appreciate all you on Patreon, everybody that's following me here, and making nice comments. I appreciate you. Have a nice 2024. Peace.